For those missionaries who are raising their own support, I wanted to remind us of one thing that is found in the scripture, and that is the idea that God's ministers and God's purposes have been provided for by God's people since the beginning of time. I was recently reading Scott Morton's book, The Faith of Fundraising, a 40-day devotional book. And in one of his devotions, he shares this story of a little-known offering. It follows the infamous offering of the golden calf offering, the people of Israel. And we've heard that story as children in Sunday school, but I'm not sure we've heard this lesser-known offering. But it's just a few chapters later in Exodus 35 and 36, where Moses asked the people to bring items that could be used to build the tabernacle. And so they bring cloth and they bring precious stones, and the craftsmen begin to accept those offerings and create the things they need to build the tabernacle. And there's two comments that I really want to focus on. The first is that it says, all of the Israelite community, everyone who was willing and whose hearts moved him, came and brought an offering to the Lord for this purpose. So as you're thinking about finding people to ask to give support, you want to think about people whose hearts are moved and how you can move them. And you want to think about people who are willing to give out of what they have. The second part of the story, which I find very powerful, is in Exodus chapter 36. These workmen who were receiving the offering were taking it and making these things. And it says they received from Moses all the offerings the Israelites had brought to carry out the work of constructing the sanctuary. And the people continued to bring these free will offerings morning after morning. Look for people who are willing to give on a regular and consistent basis is what I want to encourage you to think about here. And then finally and ultimately, it says at the end of the story, the workmen finally went to Moses and said, the people are bringing more than enough for doing the work that the Lord has commanded us to do. And so Moses went to the people and told them to stop bringing these offerings because what they already had was more than enough to do all the work. I hope you will experience a more than enough offering as you start working on your support raising this year.